Welcome back everyone to the series which I've decided is now called Billionaire or Bust, because that sounds catchy, so hell yeah. Alright, what we're going to do today is we are going to go and invade this stash house here. So the icon's a little purple house with a scope targety system on the top of it. We're going to go in there and we're going to murder some people. See how we go. Now, the best way of doing this is actually to come in with a grenade launcher. I don't have one of those, so let's see if we can bounce that around the corner without killing ourselves. I mean, that's at least one guy down. Very obliging of them all. Excellent. Alright, so in here, there should be... Wait, I'm an idiot and blind. There we go. 280398. 280398. 280398. 2803. No. Could you please break into... There we go. So, for low numbers, we go up. 28. 0398. Easy done. Alright, now, doing this when you don't have any businesses will give you some money when you eventually make it away. Doing this when you do have a business will fully resupply one of them. And as the only business I currently have is the acid lab, that's going to get me a nice fat full resupply on my acid lab. Where did the Carastol go? It's gone. So now all we need to do is leave the area. That was certainly a choice. Is there a car anywhere here? Excuse me. Ooh, this is a nice car. I'm just going to borrow your car. Thank you. And there we go. Stash house successfully raided. My acid lab has been resupplied. So a nice free resupply on the acid lab, which means it will start ticking away at making some product for us to then later sell. Now, until I get the upgrades, it will not sell particularly well. But, you know, anything's better than nothing. Now, basically today, I'm going to do a bunch of stuff that I forgot to do the other day, and it's all glaringly obvious, like this bright yellow marker on the map for the casino. I totally forgot it existed. But we can come here once a day, spin the lucky wheel, and then we get a chance at winning some stuff. We could get RP, we could get money, or we could get cars. Ah, the unskippable cutscene. Okay, well, it cost me $500 to join, but that gives me a chance of spinning the lucky wheel. Now, I do have GTA Plus, so technically I can do this twice, but as most people probably don't, I don't think that's quite fair. That was a terrible spin. 5,000 RP, it's not the end of the world. Alright, we can also grab the visitor bonus for 1,000 chips. Now, one thing I did forget to do the other day is have a look at all of the free stuff that I got with my version of the game. If we go to Dynasty 8, view property listings, there are a few free properties that we can get. This one here, this is a free 10-car garage. So I'm just going to pick that one up now. We have some free vehicle, and this is the one that I'm interested in. So I'm going to grab that one, put it in my elite garage. Part of bikers, the Pegasi Vortex is free, so we can pick ourselves up a motorcycle. We're going to go with, you know what, we're going with yellow. We're going to have a yellow motorcycle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to the A over here, which is RV Schwartzman, which is the newest thing, which is Knoway Out. If we go through here and we do all this, we can make ourselves a tidy sum. We're also going to drive past an ammunition on the way, which means we can restock on ammo and body armor, more importantly body armor. So we shall fast forward until we get there. Alrighty, second payphone Alfie's called us on. Perfect. Alright, now these missions were added not too long ago into the game, and they pay pretty well. Alrighty, unskippable cutscene time. I will fast forward this. Alrighty, there is an awful van we could take, but no, we'll take this instead. Now if we do this stealthily, life will be a lot easier. Future me here. I'm unfortunately having to supplement the earlier audio due to, well, some issues. So here we go. Hopefully it's not too jarring. Now, after mentioning that stealth was going to make this easier, I immediately alerted the guards, which turned the whole thing into a shootout. Though, as it is a set amount of guys in here and they do not keep spawning, I guess it could end up being a bit quicker this way in the long run. We just finished these guys off. Oh god, there's one left. After taking down that last guard, it's going to ask you to hop into one of the Knoway test pods. This will put you into one of the remote taxis that are in here. But before doing that, you can actually speed things up a tiny bit by blowing up 3 of the 4 vehicles that are inside here, as the mission requires you to do it later anyways. Let's get rid of you, and we'll get rid of you over there. Once inside the vehicle, you get put into first person mode, which isn't the most helpful, but after driving out of the depot as it asks, you will get 3 tasks in order to damage Knoway's reputation. In this case, I had to knock down 5 people, knock over 10 traffic signals, and drive at 50 miles an hour for at least 15 seconds. The latter of which ended up to be a lot more hassle than I thought it would be, but eventually I just headed over to the motorway and floored it. After performing the 3 tasks in the taxi, Arvy's going to tell us to destroy some other taxis and billboards. Now, there is a way to do it by getting out of the taxi you're in, hopping onto a bike and using sticky bombs to blow everything up, but this is only really necessary if you're trying to speedrun it and have faster options of vehicle than I do. So I'm going to just drive the taxi I am in. There are jumps set up around each of the billboards, which allows you to fly through them with relative ease, and the other Knoway taxis only really require one good shove to disable. Once you have smashed the taxis and smushed the billboards, it asks for you to destroy your own vehicle, which will send you back to the depot to blow up the remaining ones. I did, however, get rid of them earlier, so it skips that step straight to the running from police stage. And once you've lost the cops while heading on the way to Arvy's dead drop by the docks, Mission 1 is finished with very little effort. A quick trip across town to a ringing payphone in a suspicious alleyway starts up mission number 2, where we're going to go in disguise to meet with a Knoway contact to do some jobs for them in order to find out the location of their data center, which we want to head into and hack at some point. And through the magic of editing, we pick up our new friend, drive him to the downtown Cabco, where he goes inside to do some stuff. And we're supposed to wait for him out the back, where he will eventually appear, and then very slowly set explosives on the taxis parked outside. That is, however, unless I blow them up first, skipping a bit of the wait. In theory, assuming he doesn't still try and stick bombs on them. With the contact finally in the car, we can lose the police on the way to their Knoway's hideout. And then instead of going through the alleyway to the location, if we just ram the wall near the petrol station here, it will send us straight into the cutscene, skipping a few seconds or two. Plus, we get the added fun of knowing that we've probably cost this guy in repair work on his car. So yeah, that's a thing. Once inside the hideout, we meet up with an FIB agent who's going to talk for quite a while before giving us the location of the data center. Once he has in fact stopped yapping, apparently our cover is blown and we need to take out everyone in sight. Now, a decent shotgun or grenade launcher makes really light work of this, but I do not have one right now, so it's one guy at a time before stealing one of their bikes, because it's a bit faster than mine, and heading towards the next location. The data center itself is pretty much more of the same. You enter as stealthily as you can, and if you can't, just take everyone out violently. There are 3 hard drives inside here that you have to pilfer before leaving. Once you do leave, an armoured truck with a mounted gun is going to rock up with some friends that, from what I have seen, keep respawning. So instead of dealing with this nonsense, I'm going to take a run to the right immediately upon loading in, to slip between these crates here where I can summon my bike in relative peace before making a break for Arvy's dead drop, which will end mission number 2. In mission 3, which starts down by the airport, we can take our bike and actually drive part of the way into the subway we have to go to, which is nice. Now this one actually helps to stealth a little, so I endeavoured not to get spotted this time, taking out everyone that was between myself and the train that I had to board. However, it is possible to skip a few guards here by the station itself, as they won't spot you taking a dive off the side of the escalator, which can speed it up a tiny bit too. On board the train, the hack here is rather simple, but at this point it was late, I was tired, and it took me a little bit longer than it probably should have. But with that hack done, the train we were on will move to a point in the tracks and stop, letting us hop off to prepare for fighting the enemies coming in on the next train along. Once these guys have been dealt with, we can jump onto that train and gather the briefcase they've dropped, which is going to cause yet more enemies to spawn in down the tracks, who will make their way towards us, and they seem to be quite angry. It was at this point that things began to fall apart just slightly. Forgetting that body armor and snacks were a thing, I proceeded to get shot to pieces repeatedly, which caused a teeny tiny bit of frustration. One time I am pretty sure that the guy shooting me was inside a wall, but no matter. I pushed on to finally escape the station and make my way once more to Arby's dead drop with the pilfered case in hand. So, I was going to cut this final attempt a lot here, but decided instead just to speed it up a little, as whilst it is not perfect, boy did it feel good to actually get this done and get out of that tunnel into that lovely car outside. Yeah, first time. With mission 3 done, we can head and grab the next payphone to start up mission number 4, which is relatively an easy one as things go. and I would love to say that it went relatively smoothly. But as the voice of the future, I can assure you that unfortunately it does not. The beginning here is nice and simple. We head to a scrapyard and steal a trash truck before driving it to a secure site at the Knoway office and getting them to let us in the door by honking very loudly. Once inside the compound, we park up the truck near the documents that we want, these bright blue bags. Now, if you wanted to, you can grab some of the normal trash and get a bit of extra money. But at this point, I had died several times in the previous mission, and it was way past bedtime, so necessities only, I'm afraid. At this site, you can sabotage the cameras to give yourself long enough to nab the bags that you need and skedaddle with the trash truck before anyone is any the wiser, as once again, staying in stealth in this mission is really helpful here. On your way to the second site, we are told of another truck which is also on its way there, and that we have to deal with it before it gets there and blows your cover. If you are fast enough, you do not actually need to worry about this truck, as you can be in and out before they get there. So I headed straight to the site and honked for entry as before, parking the truck with the back end right by the set of stairs here and the front pointing in the direction of the exit for a fast getaway. The camera at this site, instead of being hacked or what have you, can be taken down with a silenced weapon to make things easier, and you can hop over this fence and headshot the two guards before grabbing the two blue bags you need and running them one by one to the truck. Unfortunately, I did take a little bit too long, and the second truck actually arrived, which caused some problems and my death. Although when I spawned back in, the police were not on me and my cover was not blown for some reason, so I thanked my lucky stars and headed towards the third and final location. Once here, if you reverse the truck up into the alcove and hop out, it should cause the guy to start walking over and let you in. And if you then follow him inside, you can squeeze up against the corner of this wall here, where you can take both him and the camera out before being noticed. That way, you can hack the door in peace. Inside the door, it is very similar to the CEO office layout, with some data stacks inside. Sneakily take out the guards, and one of the files you need is on the table in the office area. The second file you need is on a table in the side room, and it is just a case of leaving the office then at this point. Once you have left the office and are outside, you should then get into your truck as quickly as possible and start to head out of the compound area, as it will spawn an FIB van which you have to stop because it's got some stuff in it you want. The easiest way of doing this is to try and shoot out the driver and the passenger before they can cause an alarm, as this will give you long enough to grab the bags that you need and get moving before the police arrive. Then you simply lose the cops and head once more to RV's dead drop to end the mission. The final mission starts as usual with a payphone call, and RV informing us that the only way to get into the FIB headquarters is not to get a disguise or do anything like that, but to get arrested. But first, we must grab his hacking device before the cops arrive, and we are busted. A short cutscene later, and we are needing to break out of the office that we were just being interrogated in. Luckily for us though, our interrogator has left everything that we need. A pen on the desk, and a book of how to unlock the door using a pen, which is handy and definitely something you should keep around in your interrogation room. Outside of the office here, we have to sneakily take out some guards with our mighty fists to get to our weapons. Again, it is possible to do this loud, but as soon as you do, a bunch of guards start spawning in, making life way more difficult. Once we have cleared the area in this office, we can use the hacking device to gather the intel that Arvi wants, which causes the alarms to go off. So, spawning enemies. Now, I'm not bothered much with the elite challenge, so I decided to, instead of killing a bunch of extra guys with headshots, I'd make a beeline for the roof, taking out the guards as quickly as I could, as headshots do save some ammo and time. In this room here, you can actually take a few of the roof guys as well through the skylight, or if you want, you can just make a break for it and deal with them once you are upstairs. On the roof, there's a few more guys to deal with, and the helicopter here for our getaway. Hopefully nothing bad happens to this thing. Looks like it's going to do a sterling job of taking us all the way to RV. Halfway towards our rendezvous with RV, we are shot down by some missiles, and after a cutscene of us crashing, we wake up on the beach somewhat worse for wear. Now, as soon as you have control of your character, it is generally a good idea to snack and body armor up, something I had once more forgotten existed, and begin to make our way down the beach, taking out as many of the FIB agents and helicopters as we possibly can, although I do think some of them do keep respawning, so just keep moving, keep killing, and try and avoid horrific death. As we make our way along the beach, there will be some jet skis to hop onto at the end. Once you reach these, it is just a quick trip out on the waves. A couple of police boats will spawn, but they shouldn't be too hard to avoid. Unless you have me, of course. I ran straight into them and had to lose them again. But that is, as soon as you have lost them and reached RV, it is mission over. On hard mode with the elite challenge, you can make 625,000, I believe, from this. However, I did not manage the elite challenge, so I got 525. Not bad, although to be honest, I think it might have been a much less painful option to have done the clucking bell first, as that does give you some weapon loadouts. Still, it's all good experience in the long run. And with that, we will be bringing episode 2 to a close. This took far longer than I anticipated, and I need to go and get some rest. So thank you for everyone who watched right up until the end here. You are very appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do not hesitate to hit a like, and I'll see you in the next one.